Hello, all you sinners and saints, you demons and demigods of courage and freedom. It is I, the mortal Jesus, not the Son of God, but the Son of Clyde. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's having a good Saturday. I hope I get some good sleep before work tonight. That's what I really hope. It's going to be a busy month for the crypto arena. That's okay. I think I'm up for the challenge. I don't know if that carries on. What is going on? Well, numero uno, most of all. I am running for office. That's right. That's right. I am running for office for my neighborhood council. That is what I'm doing. I'm running for the Wilshire Center Koreatown Neighborhood Council. That is the official name of that. There are 99 councils, neighborhood councils in Los Angeles, and I'm running for one of them. You're probably saying to yourself, when's the election? That's a good question. I am actually looking that up right now because I'm curious myself as to when the election is. Let's see. So they have a portal that's completely dedicated to it, but all it does is send me to my candidate page, which is not what I need. What I need to do is find elections, neighborhood council, and EIGHB. I'm looking up what the election services are for the neighborhood council. You know, I realize that I have to get close to this mic, and this mic is fairly low. I'm going to have to get some type of mic stand in order for people to properly hear me. And it looks like this is going to take for a while. All right, but it's in May. I think it's like May 4th or May 14th. I'm going to find it. And I'm going to find it. That's all I could promise you is that it will be found. I will get you the information. That's the best I can do for right now. What else is going on in the news? You guys know about the? This is the segue I'm doing. Let me talk to you about my crows. All right. First of all, I don't know what they're doing. Okay, I honestly don't, because it's been raining for a few days, so they haven't had that much access to food. I thought for sure both. She who shall not be named, and I thought for sure that there would be like crows galore. Like the crows would be like all over us, you know what I mean? Like, because we're going to be putting out that good seed, the good walnuts, Excuse me, I've got some hiccups. I've got some hiccups. Fix this. I've got some hiccups. Drinking my green tea, which I have about one of these, about once a day, worth of the green teas, because supposedly it's supposed to be good for you. Here I am. I'm finally found the election thing, but anyway, with the crows, they're not showing up, you know? And I am now looking up the election day for my neighborhood. Oh my God, this is like really serendipitous because it is May 4th. That is my election day. May 4th. And my favorite movie, Star Wars, it's happening on May 4th. May the 4th be with you. This is serendipitous. This means something like it. If there was a sign from God, May the 4th would be it. I mean, I've got a Rebel Alliance tattoo on my forearm, for Christ's sake. So that is pretty awesome. So if you know anybody in my council area, please feel free to who lives in this area, please feel free. And I'm in sub-council District 4, in case anybody's wondering. There's 3 of us running, and only 2 of us have a profile, but I'm not going to just like rest on my laurels. I am going to create a campaign poster and put them up in local businesses that I hope will support me. And I think it's gonna work out well. I've lived in my neighborhood for 20 years, and I just read my online description and realized I didn't edit very well. So that's okay. That's okay. You live and you learn. I did read it to somebody, and maybe I didn't type it in properly. I'm starting to think that's what happened. Or I cut and paste wrong. Something happened where I have like an incoherent end of a sentence. Anyway, back to the crows. So they're not eating. I think they're mad because we haven't given them blueberries again. I think the last time they were here, the blueberries were the hit. And I think we need to bring them back. So the next time blueberries are available at my local store, I am definitely going to go blueberry shopping for the crows, because I think they dig on them. I think I dig on them. And I think... and I should post a video. In fact, I will post those videos. I have videos of them eating the blueberries. I'll post those up later today when I wake up from my slumber. Man, so much going on in the world. You know what's interesting about... So I'm riding a motorcycle. I told you about the black bike thing. But every time somebody discovers I ride a motorcycle, like yesterday, I'm like getting ready to leave work, and this guy who's like a big guy in where I work, he's like, you ride? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you wouldn't catch me on a bike. You wouldn't catch me on your bike. And I'm like, oh, that's right, because you'd have to ride bitch or something. I said that to him. He's like, oh, and then he goes, oh, no. My brother almost died in a motorcycle crash. And then he proceeds to tell me, what happened to his brother. And then, like, another coworker comes over. And then they tell me about, what happened to their brother during his motorcycle crash. And I just kind of, I didn't say anything. But I'm just like, I just wanted to, like, stand there going, like, you realize I'm about to get on my bike, right? Thank you for the vote of confidence in the. It just seems that that's what people like to do. And then I'm going to be honest with you, when you find out that the majority of motorcycle accidents are caused by the person riding the motorcycle, well then I know I can stop the vast majority of things happening to me, and I think that'll work out well in the long run. Talked about tacos. I talked about crows. Let's talk about a 15-minute city. The World Economic Forum would like us to be living in 15-minute cities. Now, what does that mean? That means, like, let's say, for example, in Los Angeles, in my neighborhood, you pretty much walk out in 15 minutes in just about any direction. And you're going to find a place to eat, a hotel, everything that you would need is for the most part a 15-minute walk away. Now imagine I wanted to go downtown Los Angeles. But then in order for me to go downtown Los Angeles from where I live in my neighborhood, I would need to either buy some type of day pass, or maybe I will have a 100 day pass. So like 100 days out of the year, I can go into downtown Los Angeles. And that's ridiculous. That's what the World Economic Forum, they want you to stay in your area, and they want to penalize you if you leave that area by, decreeing that you're only allowed to leave it 100 days out of the year, That, and in case you don't know, we have, they're just coming out in case you can hear the background, we have two new young cats. They're not kittens, they're rambunctious teenagers is what they are. One of them is named Nomi, after Klaus Nomi, and the other one is named Mose, and that is short for Morrissey. And together they have formed a band called Cats in Boxen. It's a German space rock band. But yeah, Cats in Boxen. Look for future albums. Look for albums in the future. Oh, and by the way, just as a reminder, the current opening and closing music for the Gezus podcast is brought to you by Oolyakoo. Oolyakoo, spelled just like it sounds. You can find that on your Spotify's, on your Apple Musics, maybe even on your Amazon Musics, maybe on your SoundClouds. I don't know. Any place you could probably buy music. You could probably even go to oolyakoo.com to get music and merch there. Oolyakoo. When you want to have a party with a band that people will be talking about how to spell their name for the entire party. And they're pretty good too. In case you haven't heard Wormwood, it is fantastic and I like it. One of my favorite songs by them, actually. So, the World Economic Forum will, they're using it to disguise it under, global warming or, climate change. And my point is, you people who are in the World Economic Forum fly in private jets all around the world and probably pollute more than the majority of us. This is ridiculous. It's just a way of, it's like really Hunger Games. You're allowed to stay in your zone. It's like going to the airport. The white zone is for loading and unloading of passengers only. The red zone is for emergency purposes. The yellow zone is for taxi cabs. Please maintain contact with your items at all times. Yeah, where's this going? I'm tired. I'm not lying. I'm tired. I have not slept since I got home from work, which was at approximately 7 o'clock this morning. We switched over to the Kings. Not too bad. Tonight's going to be a busy night because we're switching over to Clippers. And then tomorrow we have a double, which I think we go to Kings to Lakers. I don't know. You know what's interesting? Sean Penn. Why is Sean Penn interesting? Because he has a I want to say GMO, but it's NGO, non-governmental organization, charitable organization. In fact, during the pandemic here in Los Angeles, the company that I worked for, Curative, partnered with them. And if you spoke to anybody who worked for CORE, you realize that CORE was making money hand over fist, and they didn't even have to train their employees. In fact, they told their employees to just hand stuff out. In fact, they weren't even employees. They were volunteers. I don't know how many employees were in that, like actually run that company. But if anybody was bilking the government for about $200 a pop for, COVID test, it was CORE. Well, now CORE is over in Ukraine. And we get Sean Penn on CNN. By the way, Sean Penn has obviously had a facelift because his skin is looking smooth and his eyes are looking Asian. No offense, but if he announces that he is now, he now identifies as Asian, I would believe it because he's had the surgery. You just have to look at his eyes and be like, Mongolian? No. Somebody in your family somewhere had relations with, but no, it's just the latest facelift, and they pulled his eyes too tight. I'm not trying to. That's a terrible thing to say, but it does. When your eyes pull tight, it's not. I'm not trying to be. He looks Asian. It's not my fault. That the lateral folds of his eye are more pronounced, and he has a less of a round looking eye. Go look at him on CNN. With that mustache did not help. That mustache and goatee did not help. Because I kept looking at him. I'm like, oh, are you Kang? I mean, I kept trying to. Who's the guy from Ming the Merciless? Ming the Merciless from Buck Rogers. Those old Buck Rogers. Not the one from the 80s. I'm talking about the ones from. Oh, Flash Gordon. I'm sorry. Flash Gordon, not Buck Rogers. Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon Being the merciless. I'm telling you, man. Go look at that thing. It's a terrible thing to say. But I'm not the one who's doing it. I'm not the one who's trying to propagate that stereotype or make fun of Asians. I'm just saying that there's some cultural appropriation going on, and Sean Penn's in the middle of it. But what is he doing? He's in Ukraine. Aside from the way he looks, what's he doing in Ukraine? He's like, oh, in Ukraine, and the U.S. needs to send more ammunition, more long-range, precise hitting weapons, and this is what like floored me, is when he said we shouldn't be afraid of a country if I'm paraphrasing, obviously, because he said something to the fact we shouldn't be afraid if it goes to nuclear war. If nuclear weapons are used, and I'm like, yeah, because you're not going to be there when they go off, bro. Why would you care? This is what I don't understand. Americans are like, yeah, all for the war. Yeah, America is all for every war as long as they're not the ones fighting it. You know what I'm saying? Look. If I can just kind of like look at the U.S. playbook, right? The U.S. playbook has been, let's do something like we had the Tea Party, right? That throwing the tea into the bay to help start the American Revolution. Obviously, it was over the tea tax, but that was, They lied us into the Spanish-American War. They lied us into Vietnam. They lied us into the Korean War. Korean War, Vietnam War, the drug war. I mean, we were supplying a lot of the drugs to the inner city. We're the ones who helped come up with crack. CIA invented crack, for Christ's sake. They lied us into the first Gulf War. They lied us into the second Gulf War. And, they lied us into Syria. Our bombs are being used in Yemen for genocide. We, uphold an apartheid state. I don't understand why. We're sending billions of dollars over to Ukraine, but we can't even get money for the, people suffering from the chemical cloud that just, controlled burn. There's no such thing as a controlled burn. That's someone who doesn't know fire. That's a media talking point. That thing was already on fire. There's already videotape of one of the wheels sparking out there on the interwebs. It looks pretty freaking real. But that's not my point. So he's making money. His NGO's over there, and now he's telling us send planes, but let's not worry about nuclear war. Yes, because we can't live in a world where someone could hold us hostage with nuclear weapons. You're right. There should only be one country to be able to do that, and it should be the United States. Speaking of which, I'm going to end this with things as I advocate for the average pigeon. And I know this is not flowing very well, and I know I don't have my thoughts going right, but I am tired, but I'm trying to do this as a habit, because I'm making it happen. So here's the material I've come up with this week for a joke. I believe that if there is a God, God's favorite bird is a pigeon. Why do I say that? Because if you go to the statue of Jesus in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, you're going to find pigeons on top of that. You go. There's a church that I could see from the roof of my building. And there's a flock of pigeons who roost there. And I guarantee you, if you go to churches around the world, if you go to mosques around the world, if you go to Jewish temples around the world, you will find pigeons. Prove me wrong. You're saying, yeah, big deal. How does that make them God? Okay. Pigeons, always at, religious establishments. And what does pigeon poop make? What do pigeons do? They poop, right? And what can you make out of pigeon poop? Gunpowder. And who's the number one exporter of weapons? The United States. And who is God's favorite country? The United States of America. Therefore, God's favorite bird, pigeons. Which is why I'm advocating that we dump the U.S. bald eagle as our nation's bird and go for God's bird, the pigeon. That's my joke. And I think that's how I'm going to end the Jesus podcast. I'm going to look at the time and see if I have made my brother proud or not. Let's see. 14:36. Oh, 30 minutes. Oh no, I went way over. Way over. All right. That's it. That's it for the Jesus podcast. Raul's going to be mad. Anyway, remember, fail and grow from that failure. If you don't grow from your failure, that, there's no point. You're just failing for no reason. Oh, it was my cousin Tim. I didn't see him in the chat. Hello to Tim. Thanks for joining in. And that is all for the Jesus podcast. I want to thank you all for being here. If I could, aside from failing every day, because if you're failing, you're growing. If you like this, slap that like button and spank that follow. No. And spank that notification bell. Slap the like button. Spank the notification bell and follow me on the Jesus podcast. Have a good day. And I promise to be more awake and more on top of things. But I'm not. And now, let's end this with some Oolyakoo.